Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. The headlines. U.S. President Donald Trump hits the auto industry with a 25% tariff. What does this mean for car prices and global trade? Planning a trip? Well, airfares are set to rise in March, but by how much? And what will this mean for travelers? And is Hollywood losing its edge in animation? China's Ne Zha 2 surpasses Inside Out 2 to become the highest grossing animated film worldwide. All these stories and more coming up. First, let's take a look at how financial markets performed overnight. Over in the U.S., Wall Street closed at a record high Tuesday, kicking off an abbreviated trading week as investors shook off global trade and inflation concerns.
I think the most interesting part of today's market is gold. Gold is rocking and rolling, making new highs. When gold does well, it's just telling you one word: uncertainty. People really don't know. Donald Trump is a wild card. Did you know we were going to be talking about Greenland and Panama Canal? Neither did I. And we don't know what's going to come next, but we know that we didn't expect it. And so gold is really a play on that.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average was flat, S&P 500 higher by 0.2%, and the Nasdaq flat, up by just 0.1%. Meanwhile, European markets are mixed. The UK's FTSE is flat. DAXs, Germany's DAX and France's CAC 40 are higher by 0.2%. U.S. President Donald Trump confirms a 25% auto tariff, with more details set to be announced on April 2nd, a move that could redefine global trade in the auto sector. He also claims major car and chip companies are engaging with his administration, suggesting that new car manufacturing plants could be built in the U.S.
We're going to be announcing some very, very big, momentous decisions are being made by companies all around the world, the biggest, and they want to come back into the U.S. Car plants are being canceled in other locations now because they want to build them here. And you read about a couple, not that I want to mention names or anything, but you read about a couple of big ones in Mexico just got canceled because they're going to be building them in the United States. And that's very simply because of what we're doing with respect to taxes, tariffs, and incentives.
Trump warns he may block Venezuela from exporting oil through Chevron, saying that the U.S. has enough of its own liquid gold. Now, what does this mean for the Philippines? Well, a 25% auto tariff could disrupt global supply chains, impacting auto parts exporters in Asia, including the Philippines. Meanwhile, a tighter U.S. energy policy could affect global oil prices, potentially influencing transportation costs and inflation locally.
Just a little clarity on, are you inclined to continue to allow Venezuela, through, I think, Chevron and other oil companies, to export those petroleum products, or are you
maybe not
to pull back on
Yeah, maybe not. We're looking at that now. I just got here. When I left, they weren't doing anything. They were ready to go. We give up. And then Biden came along and he gave them literally billions of dollars. I couldn't believe it, actually. And we have so much under our feet. Liquid gold, we have so much, and it was pretty amazing. So we're looking at the whole situation, why he did it.
Here at home, Philippine meat imports hit a record high of 1.45 million metric tons in 2024, marking a more than 20% increase from the previous year. Data from the Bureau of Animal Industry shows that imports of chicken, pork, beef, and turkey all grew last year. Industry sources attribute the rise to the African swine fever outbreak, which drove up pork shipments to the country. Higher meat imports could impact local livestock producers, forcing them to compete with cheaper imported supply. For consumers, it may help stabilize meat prices, but it also raises questions about food security and dependence on foreign suppliers. The bigger challenge is, how will the Philippines balance imports with supporting local agriculture? Cyber threats are on the rise here in the Philippines, with the country's global rank for local cyber attacks climbing to 66th place in 2024, up from 76th place last year. Data from Kaspersky Security Network, a global cybersecurity firm, shows that the country recorded over 17 million cyber attacks last year, affecting more than 1 in 3 users. Kaspersky, known for antivirus software and digital security solutions, warns that the Philippines must strengthen its cyber defenses to protect businesses and consumers. With more transactions and operations going digital, businesses must invest in stronger cybersecurity or risk financial losses and eroding customer trust. Failure to act could threaten the economy, national security, and the country's digital future. Viber, the popular messaging and calling app used by millions worldwide, is expanding its services beyond chat and voice calls, now offering bill payments, money transfers, and even online dating. As Sujin Kim reports, the platform is evolving into a multifunctional app, a move that could change how users interact and transact online.
The Philippines, one of Viber's top 5 global markets, is set to experience a massive shift as the messaging platform expands into fintech and e-commerce. ViberPay, the company's peer-to-peer and business payment platform, is set to launch in the second quarter of 2025, with the full deployment expected by the second half of the year, pending final regulatory approvals. Users will soon be able to send and receive money directly through Viber, no bank account required. And this year, international remittances will be added to the system, allowing Filipinos working abroad to transfer funds to their families faster and more seamlessly.
These people are already communicating with their families back to the Philippines, so this will allow them to transfer the funds back into the Philippines from working abroad. We believe this is a very strong offering, and it ties well to our MSME strategy. You discover the small business over Viber, you get a quote, you see the catalog, you pick a service, you get the service, and then you pay on Viber. So that enforces the entire flywheel.
With millions of Filipinos relying on remittances, ViberPay could change the landscape of money transfers, making them faster, more direct, and possibly even cheaper than traditional methods. Beyond sending money, Viber is laying the groundwork for a fully integrated online marketplace where businesses can sell products and process payments all within the app. At first, users will be able to browse and purchase from individual sellers. But Viber's long-term plan, a multi-business shopping cart that lets users buy from different stores.
We envision marketplaces in Viber. We envision a cart that combines different products from different businesses, and then discounts on the cart and everything that comes with full e-commerce or mobile commerce. So we will start with the single catalog, single payments per business. But definitely in the future, you can envision, we already envision the carts and a marketplace in Viber.
For small and medium enterprises, this is a potential game changer, with Viber reporting a nearly 200% growth in small business accounts and a 74% increase in customer engagement. The app is already a major platform for businesses looking to reach customers digitally. But as Viber expands into payments and online shopping, security becomes a major question. While no system is entirely foolproof, Viber's security framework will be crucial in earning users' trust, especially as more financial transactions shift online.
We have entire departments of people working solely on this and monitoring systems. You can imagine an operation that works in 190 countries, onboarding millions of users on a daily basis. So we employ a lot of effort in a lot of countries to make sure that we are safe as possible. No platform is 100% safe. Anybody tells you otherwise, that they are 100% safe, is probably not telling the truth. But we have a lot of skin in the game.
Meanwhile, last Valentine's Day, Viber also expanded into the world of online dating. More than payments and e-commerce, the app is trying its hand at online matchmaking. Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Air travelers will soon pay more for flight tickets as the Civil Aeronautics Board, or CAB, raises fuel surcharges starting March. The fuel surcharge will climb to level 5 from level 4, marking the first hike in 5 months. Passengers will pay an additional 151 to 542 pesos for domestic flights and 498 to cover over or 3,700 for international flights. Now, fuel surcharges help airlines offset higher fuel costs, with the last level 5 recorded in September. Higher fares could slow tourism recovery and impact corporate travel spending, potentially affecting hotels, airlines, and other travel-dependent industries. For companies relying on frequent travel, budget adjustments may be necessary while airlines face pressure to balance costs and competitive pricing. We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagte.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at how bourses in Asia are faring in early trade. Right now, the Nikkei 225, Japan's Nikkei 225 is down by 0.25%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index down by a little bit more, down by 0.7%. Shanghai's Composite higher by 0.2%, and Singapore's Straits Times Index higher by 0.25%. Now, taking a look at the Philippine stock market, which just opened earlier, the main gauge is higher by 0.6% to 61.33, continuing the rally that started yesterday, where the PSE Index was up by 1.7% to 60.95. Now, the fresh positive catalyst here, remittances from overseas Filipino workers hit an all-time high of $38 billion in 2024. That's an increase of 3% year on year. That's also about 3.8% of GDP. Now, the U.S. was the biggest source of cash remittances for Filipinos, followed by Singapore and Saudi Arabia. Now, higher remittances mean a stronger peso, and it also supports domestic consumption, which is great for corporate earnings, especially for consumer and retail stocks. Now, at the foreign exchange market, the peso opens weaker at 58.20 against the greenback from its previous close of 58.15. Now, A. Soriano Corporation, or ANSCOR, announces the passing of its vice chairman and director, Eduardo J. Soriano, on February 17th. He was 69 years old. ANSCOR confirmed his passing in a disclosure to the Philippine Stock Exchange, extending condolences to his family and loved ones. Soriano served as a director of ANSCOR since 1980, became vice chairman in 1990, and later treasurer until his retirement in 2018. He earned a degree in economics with a major in history from the University of Pennsylvania. With decades of leadership in ANSCOR, Soriano helped steer the company's strategic direction and left a lasting impact on Philippine business. The West Philippine Sea is more than just a territorial dispute. It's a strategic economic zone vital to trade, energy exploration, and the fishing industry. Control over these waters directly impacts shipping routes, foreign investments, and resource development, making it a major concern for business and national security. Now, political clash over the Philippines' claim in it is escalating. Philippine Coast Guard West Philippine Sea spokesperson Commodore J. Dariela fires back at Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, saying he has no duty to defend the lawmaker from criticism after Marcoleta questioned the existence of the West Philippine Sea. Tariela also clarifies that he never called Marcoleta a traitor, stressing his statements were about national interest and not personal attacks. With the West Philippine Sea at the core of economic and security interests, how the government handles this issue will shape the country's trade relations, investment climate, and long-term stability. Francis Folve has the details on that story.
Commodore J. Tariela, spokesperson of the Coast Guard on the West Philippine Sea, and Congressman Rodante Marcoleta finally came face-to-face at the continuation of the TRICOM hearing on fake news and online disinformation at the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The lawmaker expressed that he has been receiving online backlash after stating that there is no such thing as West Philippine Sea. However, he defended his statement, saying that the West Philippine Sea has yet to be officially recorded in the International Hydrographic Organization or the Global Registry of Seas. He also clarified that just because it is called the South China Sea does not mean it belongs to China. Just like the Indian Ocean does not belong to India and the Gulf of Mexico does not belong to Mexico.
Kinakailangan pong malaman ng lahat. Atin po yun, kahit anong mangyari, we will fight anybody to the last drop of our blood. Atin yun. Yun ang ating exclusive economic zone. May pangalan o walang pangalan, atin yun. Pero yung isang Commodore na masyadong emotional, tinawag niya akong traitor, Mr. Chair, nang hindi po niya naiintindihan ang pinanggalingan ng pinag-uusapan dito.
He claims this is where the online backlash started, accusing him and other members of former President Duterte's party of being pro-China. He insists this is part of election-related misinformation. Marcoleta then asked Tariela to explain why he supposedly implied he was a traitor.
Called me a traitor, sir. Nasa Facebook po, nasa social media. You said that you did not say that I am a traitor, but it is in the social media. Did you take an effort to clarify that so that you could not mislead people because they might believe that you have said that? It is only now that you are disowning this statement. Mr. Chair.
Let's put it on record. I did not use the word traitor in describing your statement that the West Philippine Sea ay kathang-isip lamang po. Let me read my post on X. I stand by the statement of President Bongbong Marcos when he said ang West Philippine Sea ay hindi kathang-isip natin lamang. Ito ay atin, ito ay mananatiling atin, hanggang nag-aalab ang diwa ng ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas.
Mr. Chair, sinabi ko ba na katang-isip ang West Philippine Sea?
Marcoleta stressed Congress and the Coast Guard must work together to formally register the West Philippine Sea.
Mr. Chair, wala tayong dispute that. Sinasabi ko na nga sa iyo, yung sinasabi nating West Philippine Sea is our own exclusive economic zone. This is ours. You and I should fight for it until the last drop of our blood. Ang sinasabi natin dito, kagaya ng nire-request ng CICC, let us educate our people sapagkat ang alam ng mga tao, lahat tayo, ang alam natin, nakarehistro na. Ang sinasabi ko, hindi pa po nakarehistro.
Mr. Chair, nobody has ever asked me whether you are a traitor. This was only the first time that I was asked whether you are a traitor or not.
Marcoleta says the online bashing against him is a clear example of social media abuse. But Tariela insists that it is not his obligation to correct any false information that circulates online. A YouTube representative said they can take down misinformational content if they receive a formal complaint. Before the clash between Marcoleta and Tariela at the TRICOM hearing, a BPAR aircraft conducting a maritime domain awareness flight over Bajo de Masinloc once again encountered a dangerous flight maneuver by a Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy helicopter. The PLA chopper flew just 3 meters away from the side and above the BPAR aircraft. The Coast Guard said this was a clear violation of international aviation law. Fortunately, all crew members and passengers of the B-4 aircraft, including media, were safe. Francis Polbe, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
U.S. President Donald Trump signals a possible meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin this month as the U.S. and Russia engage in talks about ending the war in Ukraine. Trump dismisses Kiev's concerns about being left out of the discussions as a U.S. delegation opens a dialogue with Moscow. He also says that he won't oppose European countries if they decide to send peacekeeping troops into Ukraine. A U.S.-Russia deal could shift energy markets, global trade, and geopolitical risks. An end to the Ukraine war may ease pressure on oil prices, affecting inflation and transportation costs worldwide. How the U.S. handles these talks could reshape the world order and the economic landscape.
Do you support stationing European peacekeeping troops in Ukraine as part of this peace deal?
If they want to do that, that's great. I'm all for it. If they want to do that, I think that'd be fine. I mean, I know France has mentioned it. Others have mentioned it. UK has mentioned it. But yeah, if we have a peace deal, I think having troops over there from the standpoint of Europe, we won't have to put any over there because, we're very far away. But having troops over there would be fine. I would not object to it at all.
Dozens of Roman Catholic faithful gather outside a hospital in Rome praying for Pope Francis's recovery as his health takes a turn. The Vatican confirms that the 88-year-old pontiff has developed double pneumonia, further complicating his treatment. Francis has been battling a respiratory infection for over a week and was admitted to the hospital last week. His condition raises concerns as he previously had part of a lung removed, making him more susceptible to infections. This matters because the Vatican isn't just a religious institution, it's a major economic force. A transition in church leadership could impact global charities, investments, and Catholic-led organizations. In the Philippines, a heavily Catholic nation, the Pope's health could affect donor-funded church projects, pilgrimages, and religious tourism. A potential change in the papacy could also shift church policies on social issues, influencing discussions around business ethics, corporate social responsibility, and even ESG investments. On another front, Chinese animated film Ne Zha 2 takes the top spot worldwide, out-earning Hollywood's Inside Out 2 to become the highest-grossing animated film. A sequel to the 2019 hit Ne Zha, the film follows Ne Zha as he challenges the gods, demons, and the Dragon King of the Four Seas. Since its release during the Chinese New Year, it's smashed box office records, grossing $1.72 billion worldwide. Ne Zha 2's success proves that Asian storytelling can compete globally, opening doors for more local animated films to break into the international market. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.